Yeah. Personally, I'm doing really well. That game week 9 can go in the bin and stay in the bin. What an absolute disaster!
I feel exactly the same. You may notice we are without Darren. He is unfortunately injured and ruled out for this week.
Man down.
Man down indeed.
Rotated.
He's got a poorly wisdom tooth. So, we told him to save his breath this week. We can talk over his team for him.
It's a shame, actually, because he had a good week last week, considering game week 9 was a pretty bad one for most people.
Hopefully he's controlling the buttons, because if we can get these slides up, we can talk through the themes of game week 9.
Well played.
So, I think I felt the pain. You felt the pain. I think a lot of FPL players felt the pain of this week. None of the main assets seemed to come through. And as I put in call out one there, it was Van der Ven or bust for most people's teams. He hauled a massive 23 points this week. I certainly was on the back end of that pain with him on my bench, which was even worse.
Well, I benched Porro in the same game. So I went into the final game, the Everton Spurs game, with 4 players. Porro on the bench, so with 3 players, thinking it's been a bad week, but it must get better. You know, I've got Njai, I've got Tarkovsky, I've got Kudos. I mean, three players are going to score points. And lo and behold, it's Van der Ven who comes up with the goods, and he's massively 33% owned. I mean, who actually owns him? 33% of you do. 33% of the player base owns Van der Ven. I don't know if you remember the episode 1 we recorded. We highlighted that random weeks and random players will pop up from time to time more regularly this season because of the player pool being wider. I mean, I've never considered Van der Ven from one of my teams like for a second. So he was left field, but I thought, he's got the goals. Surely your rank's not going to be affected too much by him because no one owns him.
Yeah, unfortunately not. He's very highly owned. A lot of people, again, bench boost. I've seen a few people that have had him and Roden on their bench. Yeah. So scored nicely with a bench boost.
Well, talking of those two, their combined scored more than my entire team.
I know, it was crazy. Another week for the defenders. Right? Another week where a defender was the highest scoring FPL asset, which again is a theme so far this season. It's tough to move away from that large at the defence.
Is that 7 out of 9 weeks the defender's been top scorer?
That's correct. I think it's only 1 week. I think it's only 1 week, or maybe 2 at best from memory. I'd have to check my facts, but it's not been good showing for attacking assets for this week. That's for sure.
Not for the strikers anyway.
I guess that goes on to the next point. Haaland blanking for a change, and with him blanking, City don't win. There's a lot of talk in the media at the moment about City being a one-man team currently, which I don't buy into, but they certainly do struggle if he doesn't find the back of the net.
Well, he missed. Well, he actually scored, didn't he, late on? It was ruled off for offside. I can't remember who squared it, but they were deemed offside. And he had a nice collision with the post, proving that he's not a robot because he rolled around for a while, holding himself in a delicate area for a while. Yeah, you're right. It seems like if Haaland doesn't fire, then City misfire. I think we mentioned it a few weeks back that's quite concerning for me if I was a City fan. City FPL asset holder other than Haaland. They're not keeping a great deal of clean sheets neither.
No.
To lose to Villa, who I guess Villa have improved, but they look pretty comfortable in that game for what I saw.
Yeah, there wasn't many clear-cut chances. From what I remember, Foden created about 5 chances in the game. He was probably the most intense player on creating something for City, but again, still still no points on the board for any of their assets outside of Haaland, it seems. So I think
And
that again,
Reinders being sold en masse.
Yeah, he's certainly on my hit list. Certainly on my hit list. Point 3, surging form at Old Trafford. So 3 wins on the bounce. So that poor lad is 2 more wins away from getting a haircut.
Yeah.
Will it happen?
So who have they got this week?
They have. Good question. I should know that.
He's probably booked his haircut already, knowing that they can win the next 2. Is it league games or is it all games? Because have they got a EFL game? Oh no, they're out. They got knocked out.
They're not knocked out yet.
Grimsby beat them in the.
I think it's. I imagine it's only 5 games in total. But
They've got Forest this week, haven't they?
They do. I think you're right. Sorry, I should really know these. I've gone over these slides so much.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Forest.
So 4 should be on the cards.
Should be.
I mean, United have looked. We it's £5 in the pot here. You said pre-recording that United are starting to click, but they're very open at both ends. They're creating lots of chances. They're conceding lots of chances. They're actually quite good to watch. But that front 3 of Sesko, Cunha, and Burmo with Bruno supporting sort of late on in the move. I think there's plenty of goals in that. They're creating chances for fun. Now could be the time. Now that they're showing a bit of resurgence, now could be the time to get on those assets. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I must admit, from an attacking point of view, that they have impressed me over the last couple of games. They definitely are creating the chances. They are getting the spot of luck that you need, I guess, when your form's not so great, with some of the refereeing decisions with regards to like fouls, etc. But they're putting their chances away, and yeah, I think if you're looking for attacking assets, I definitely wouldn't, especially with their fixtures run looking starting to turn a bit nicer. I certainly would be eyeing up the likes of Mbama. I think he's probably the best asset. He's definitely the more attacking of the 4. But like you say, there'll still be people that are on Fernandes for these penalty contributions and even DEFCONs that he seems to be getting.
I think Bruno's a weird, an odd pick. I think he's a good pick. He's probably not value at his price at 8.9, but he offers. Well, he offers points from multiple angles because he has to return once, even an assist, and because he's so involved in the game, he always collects bonus. So even if he picks up DEFCON, I think he's in the bonus shout as well. So he's a player that could haul quite easily. Imagine if he gets a goal and an assist, he'll get the 3 bonus for sure. He'll get DEFCONs too. So he's a player that could quite easily haul. So I quite like Bruno and Burmo, and even Cunha. If you want to go bold, have 2 of those 3 in a wildcard midfield would be quite sexy.
I like it. I like the idea. And then next, Sunderland's prize package. So again, I think a lot of people probably had Chelsea assets thinking that they were going to get some points this week, and Sunderland come up and spoil the party. They are certainly looking a lot more solid than we probably gave them credit for at the start of the season.
Well, hands up who held on to João Pedro thinking this was a game to keep him for. Yeah. And it didn't turn out. I mean, we got what we wanted. We've been crying out that Pedro gets played in the 10, and he brings Guy in to play the 9. It did push Enzo back, like we thought would happen, but Enzo was still the most attacking Chelsea player. Pedro just disappears. I mean, he's like a ghost playing in whatever position they play him, and he just disappears, doesn't he? Surely now time to sell, and no questions asked.
Yeah. I think we've used the fixtures narrative for too long, if anything.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly feeling burnt by him at this point. and I need to move on from him. It's a marriage that needs a divorce, so for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, but Chelsea in general looked pretty poor, and Sunderland, like in your slide, Sunderland were good value for the win. It wasn't a fluke by any measure. They were very solid all over the pitch. Well, 1-0 down. Don't forget, turned it around. A late goal. Defensively, their assets are fantastic. You got Mukiele and Alderete at 4.1. I like Ballard as well. He's all action. 4.6. I mean, he's all over the pitch. I like him a lot. And the goalkeeper, yeah, and the lad in goal is solid too. So Sunderland definitely the surprise package, and good to see, because we always like the newly promoted sides coming up and doing well, because it means that the established teams are in trouble, as we well know if you look at the table.
Well, no one would have called the likes of them and Bournemouth in the top four to start the season. So it's it is a nice change, a breath of fresh air, if you like. And again, it shows the strength of the Premier League, how there's no givens in the Premier League, like there is in other European leagues.
Apart from when you play West Ham.
Well, it seems like it at the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
West Ham seems to be 3 points made. I guess we'd be versed without quickly talking about, I guess, Liverpool and Brentford, and then obviously we'll go on to our game quickly before, I guess, moving on to the topic of set pieces. So, Brentford versus Liverpool. Liverpool struggle again.
Yeah.
Brentford are, again, I guess, debunking, losing their assets. We're going to rip them apart.
He's doing a good job there, Keith Andrews, isn't he? I like his interviews. He seems very relaxed, very calm. Seems to be getting a good deal of sort of a tune out of those group of players. And yeah, we all worried about them losing in Burmo and Visser and Norsgaard before the season. And they didn't really recruit. I mean, Thiago was already there. He's like a new player because he was injured. Schade looks a good player. Obviously, we know him from his time in the German league. They look good, but I guess you can only look as good as how bad Liverpool work, and they were again disjointed, just all over the place. Really, it's hard to put your finger on really what is going on there.
It just feels like at the moment they're struggling to do some of the basics right. Even just defending, how disjointed the likes of Van Dijk and Konate look together.
Yeah.
One's dropping in, one's dropping out, and they're not moving together, and they're not seem to be communicating properly. And again, the way they get caught out from a long throw so easily, like a Champions elect doesn't usually happen to. So it is very surprising, and I'm just surprised that they're consistently seem to making these errors.
And from an FPL point of view, I mean, there's no one really in that Liverpool side. Maybe Szoboszlai is the only one that's sort of consistent. But you'd be gutted if you drafted him in 6.5 million midfield and then see him lined up at right back. You'd be pretty gutted, wouldn't you? Because that's where he's been playing from time to time, and I can't think of any other asset that really you'd want.
And again, he's an attacking midfielder. So to play him at right back, you're not playing him there for his defensive nous. No. You're playing him there because of his ability to spread the play from that position.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a player they used to have that used to do similar.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're missing.
Yeah.
And they haven't adapted to it properly because I don't know. There just seems to be lots of issues there, and I guess
Salah again was
not to solve.
Salah was anonymous. Apart from his Weldy, he took the goal very well, mind you, but that was all we did in the whole game.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a gift from a defensive point of view, but obviously, he did take it well.
Yeah, and Gakpo was heavily transferred in and got subbed at 62 minutes, so he's now a minutes issue. There's no Isak out injured.
That's a good thing for Ekatike owners. I think, again, he's probably been maybe one of the shining lights for them so far this season.
Yeah.
and he looks lively. He looks lively. He does look like, and he looks good value for money for what he is in FPL. But yeah, and again, if Liverpool can start to turn a corner, because again their fixtures start to turn nice from around 13ish, if I want to say correctly. So again, from an FPL sense, greedily, we're all hoping that they start to turn a corner and we can start drafting in some of their assets for their nicer fixtures.
Because it feels weird. They are the champions, and yet there's no assets you want to pick up.
Well, even if they weren't performing attacking wise, that's what I mean. Usually you'd go, well, I can rely on their defenders. But obviously Van Dijk's contributed with DEFCON, but again, they're not really keeping any clean sheets at the moment either. So you just, you're looking at them and go, where's the value? Because again, they're all expensive.
Yeah, true.
And that's the problem, especially when there's plenty of value elsewhere. And then I guess we were dismissed if we didn't go on to our game after we spoke about it fairly in length last week. So I will let you start and get your opinion on it.
I think that the game went exactly as I thought it would. We started well. We looked pretty comfortable. Created a couple of opportunities without looking threatening. Got into some good positions. At times, the difference in quality is where we lack. We need 20 chances to score 2 goals these days. So when you come up against a team like Arsenal who give you virtually nothing, just little sniffs here and there, you got to make the most of them. And too often, Pino in particular was making the wrong choice. He was doing my head in. I've got to say, he kept making the wrong choice and giving the ball away. And then surely Arsenal sort of creep back into the game and to get a stranglehold on it. They stifle you. They sort of nullify the game. They don't allow it to open up. And that's where Arsenal was so good defensively. They just absolutely kill every avenue for progression with the ball. And I think a 1-0 Arsenal was probably the correct score on the balance of chances and play and that not a great spectacle from a neutral. And I think Arsenal go, well, that's a tough game out of the way. You get the 3 points, and we go, yeah, we played well and lost 1-0 to maybe the possible champion. So everyone sort of is okay with it.
Yeah, for me, that's how I looked at the game. I was relieved, really, to get it out of the way, because I always look at Palace as a potential banana skin. They are a team that can unlock you, as we've seen with Liverpool, for example. And you've done it to us a few times, more so in the Cups in recent history. But again, you have done it to us in the past. And yeah, it almost felt like it was bound to be Eze, of all people, to score, right?
Well, I mean, only he could have scored that goal the way he scored it.
It's almost a carbon copy of his goal against us last season with the volley on the edge of the box. Took it beautifully. I thought you were good value for it in the first half. Like you said, you got into good areas without really testing or getting an opportunity to test Raya. But again, you looked threatening to cause issues. I was very impressed with Adam Wharton. I thought he was screening and really stifling and stopping us from being able to play through the middle and getting in those holes, as they was really struggling to get in the game in that first half. And then second half, I thought, we hit the bar early on, looked good for say the first 15-20 minutes, and then I guess we kind of felt sit in, defend, and it was a bit of a nervy into the game without really needing to be nervy, but I think obviously Arteta was confident we would see it out. I mean, the way the goal was given as well, I think it was Pino that conceded the free kick needlessly. I think it was on Saka when he was going away from goal. Just too rash, brings him down. And funny enough, the goal comes from a good bit of defensive play by Sarr getting in front of Gabriel and actually beating Gabriel to the ball. And just happened to fall to Eze, and like you said, it had to be him that scored it. I saw actually some nice footage afterwards when the players were hugging afterwards.
Dean Henderson come out the goal and pretends to punch him in the stomach. And then give him a big hug, because they're all obviously good mates from their time. He won us the FA Cup last year, and with goals like that, because he has the ability to win games on his own with moments of magic. And that's the first time you've celebrated what he can really offer Arsenal, and he can unlock defenses. So when you progress into the big tournaments, he'll be an asset for you. He'll do that from time to time, and he's a big game player, so he'll step up and be absolute value for you boys.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. He's only going to get better in an Arsenal shirt. He's only shown snippets of what he can do, I'm kind of happy he's obviously getting that time in the Odegaard role to get his feet. I think he'll play a lot out left at some point, but for now, I think he's really starting to settle in.
So from an FPL point of view, is Eze worth getting in?
I think if you look at value-wise, if you can't, I think Saka's still probably the best Arsenal midfield asset. And the only, I guess, apprehension with Eze is, I think, value for money-wise, Rice might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, he takes all set pieces. So he's almost, especially the amount of set pieces we're scoring, he's almost guaranteed an assist every other game at
he picked up the assist. Rice picked up the assist for Saab basically heading the ball out. The new FPL rule that intended target isn't a thing anymore. So you can get an assist when you're not even aiming for the player that scores. It's great.
So that'd be my only. But I think if you can start putting the ball in the back of the net, then obviously it changes things.
Yeah.
Because Rice is probably assisting more than he's scoring. So, I think obviously goals are more valuable. So, that would be what I would say. Is just, I guess it depends on value, and especially with the Burnley and Sunderland fixtures coming up, could he?
Because when we come to discuss our teams at the end, I'm on Wildcard this week. Spoiler alert. I have a question for you about Arsenal assets in that bit.
Go for it. And then I guess last one quickly before we move on to our dreaded scores. Set pieces again, ole. So again, a fair amount of set pieces scored over this weekend. It seems to be a big hot topic, whether it's a dark age of football, whether set pieces are ruining the game because everyone's so focused on it. I just think it's absolute rubbish. So again, just a few facts. So there's 28% of goals in the Premier League this season has been scored by set pieces, excluding penalties. The average since 2015 has been 22%. So yes, it's higher than average. Yes, it seems to be a bit of more of a trend at the moment. But let's not pretend it's 9 game weeks.
Yeah.
It's 9 game weeks. I'm sure we're going to get plenty of open play goals.
Do you think it's been hyped up because it's Arsenal and Arsenal are top of the league?
Well, again, being an Arsenal fan, obviously I read a lot of the media about us. And it's just amazing how it's swung from being negative connotations a few weeks ago, that we were, boring and stifling games, and it can't last. You can't keep doing this. And now we're top. Now it's being sold as champions find a way to win. This is what they do. I wonder why, because they want us to watch their channels. They can't. The potential champions of the league can't be boring, can they? Because otherwise you wouldn't watch them.
But I mean, if say I don't know, Leeds had scored 60% of their goals from set plays, no one would really be paying much attention. But because it's Arsenal and Arsenal are top of the league, do you think that's why the focus is on the set piece debate?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think it's, we're seen as I just don't like the way it's being frowned upon, where it's seen like it's a lesser part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see obviously the Stoke comparisons, and you see them describe it as something that lesser teams use to unlock better defenses.
I think that's the way it's seen, isn't it? You can be a lesser team and you sit in for 89 minutes and then you get a corner and you score from the corner. That's the perception, I think, of it.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's being thrown out there. But let's say we score 3 open play goals at the weekend. All of a sudden, our percentage of open play goals versus set piece is drastically different.
Yeah,
like it just seems very, very strange, and everyone's employing it. If it was just apart from Jamie O'Hara, who seems to think Arsenal have led the way in this whole thing. Everyone's using it. I can't imagine Jamie O'Hara was complaining when Van der Ven scored 2 set piece goals over the weekend, was he? So
I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
I just find it a bit silly, and like I say, it just takes away from the art of the game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, maybe if City and Liverpool were better at set pieces, they might have unlocked some of these defenses.
I think what the laughable thing about it is that no one's concentrating, apart from West Ham, on the defensive element of it. If Arsenal was scoring, goals from set plays, no one's looking at the defensive setup and go, well, how do you stop them? Because they're clearly strong at this. Let's look at a way of stopping them from doing this. Because football is about defending and attacking, isn't it? It's not just about one team winning corners and scoring from corners. You got to defend them. If the teams can't defend them, then they don't deserve to win games.
Well, that's it. You look at West Ham on the other end of the scale. They've conceded, I think, 9 set piece goals so far this season.
Conceded. Was it one more against Leeds? Rodon's header.
Yeah. So they clearly are struggling to defend them. So why wouldn't you target them with set pieces when you come up against them?
Yep.
It just it's an obvious thing to do. I like the fact that Arsenal kind of leading the way in this, because I know we can play the other way. People are trying to bash us by making it look like we can't. We're not playing expansive football at all. We've played teams recently that have sat in, tried to defend, and granted, Arsenal haven't been at their best in some of these games, but we've found a way to win. That those type of things should be applauded in my book.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Right. Here we go, Scott. Here we go. Yeah. Sorry, mate. So what I'll do is I'll start on the positives. Let's go for Darren. So 60 points for him this week.
Good.
He rose around 400k, I think, from memory.
Okay.
And you can see that the main guys there. So obviously Van der Ven, big points hauler in his team. Eze, again, coming good for him. And his man Bruno G. Again, I know we laugh at him for it, but I do have to give him credit. I must admit, I do have to give him credit, because, again, looking at those midfielders, he is definitely the most attacking threat of them all. Not the most reliable of attacking threats, but Darren seems to have got him at the right moments.
Well, Darren, tell you, he's returned. He's hauled twice in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
So, he's got him in on the right time.
Fair play to him. 41 for me. Obviously, Gabriel, Petrovic, Senesi came in good. Defensively wise, midfielders all shocking, strikers all shocking, and then obviously to round it off for me, having 23 points of Van der Ven on my bench when I was going to bench boost and decided not to because the Gabriel injury was putting me off. Did
you ever think about benching Gabriel for Van der Ven?
No, because the way I saw that game, but I thought it was going to be, a 1-1 kind of game. I thought both teams would score. Tottenham's recent form defensively has not been great. So, I was almost thinking they're going to concede. And the reason I put Tarkowski, because at the old DEFCON points, I thought he's great value for them. Tottenham are going to attack them, so there's a good opportunity to earn them.
Yeah.
And, I guess, again, it's one of those things that once in a while FPL just comes back and bites you.
But the game was like that. It was into. I think Everton accrued 1.53 XG in that game. And lost 3-0. I think Spurs only accrued 1.9. And Everton come away without scoring. I mean, mainly because Vicario was a man possessed. He made 2 great saves. One from Beto.
Yeah.
From an Njai assist, and then he saved from Njai a miracle save. I mean, I'd be looking at at least 40 points if he hadn't have saved them.
Yeah. So how would you sum up your week, Scott?
What do you mean, 34 points?
Is there any shining lights you can take from it?
Well, I analysed it like this: that if you have 11 players that start, they all start with 2 points just for turning up. You double that 2 to 4 for your captain. That's 24 points, right? In my simple maths. I scored 34, so I amassed 10 whole points from 11 players on top of what they would have done just for turning up. So no, I'm not very happy with it.
It was a failed exam.
And when Jared Bowen is your only attacking point scorer with a last minute assist, absolutely shocking. Anyway, I've binned it. I've moved on. I don't want to see that anymore. A wildcard.
Okay. Well, let's go on to the Game Week 10 preview. So, again, I didn't want to overload us with data, so I've just put the fixture difficulty ratings up there.
Yep.
It's ranked in order of preference. Then a good old DEFCON, I thought I'd just put that out there for anyone who wants to digest the information. Again, happy to go through it, Scott, if you want to quickly discuss it. But yeah, who would you be targeting if you're either looking to wildcard like yourself, or if you're looking to make any transfers this week? What teams would you be looking at?
Well, you've got to be looking at Palace, I think, first and foremost. Top of the ticker, and with a run of 6 games that you'd think both defensively and attack-wise, there's assets there that stand out. Mateta, Munoz, Sarr. In fact, any of the back line, really, Richards, Lacroix, Gahey, I wouldn't put anyone off buying them. Brighton second in the ticker. Tricky team to pick any assets really from. I mean, Darren asked the question in the group chat this week. Even Welbeck's not guaranteed a start. He missed out last week. I think Minty is probably the best asset for minutes.
I think he's most reliable, but Welbeck is certainly performing. His underlying data is very good.
Yeah, I'd worry about Welbeck
as you'd expect from a Welbeck, because he seems to do that from time to time.
But with his age and his injury history, I'd worry if I drafted him in. I'd be concerned any given week he'd just not turn up.
Yeah, it's definite risk. But I guess at 6.4, I think he is. I guess if he's a nice budget enabler for any other moves elsewhere potentially.
Well, I'd go Thiago if I had that sort of position in my team. I'd go Thiago at Brentford over Welbeck for assurances of minutes. Firstly, and Thiago is playing very well. I mean, he looks a snip at the price. I think the price rise. He's up to 6.2 now, but
Correct,
he still looks value. Yeah, guaranteed to start. He's on penalties. Brentford are scoring. Yeah, he looks a quality pick at that price.
I would tend to agree. Yeah. Again, who else would you look at? I still fancy Arsenal. There's 2 red fixtures in there with Chelsea and Villa, but again, defensive wise, I think that's the right positions to be looking at. So the Gabriels and Timbers of the world, I certainly wouldn't be looking to move any of them on, and I certainly would keep them for those 6 game weeks for sure.
Yep.
Attacking assets, I still think Saka's good value, and as we said, if you need a bit more budget, you could look at Eze or Rice. And then, a bit further down, obviously, you've got Newcastle, Man United, and Chelsea kind of in the middle of the pack there, who's got, the odd difficult fixture within that. Obviously, Newcastle having City and Chelsea playing us as Arsenal, but Man United's look nice. So again, we spoke about their assets, I guess. Yeah. Are you looking at them for your wildcard team?
United, yeah, I'm looking at. I really like the actual the thought of having a Mbeumo Bruno double up. I know it's a lot of money, but I see that clicking, and I don't know. There's something about Bruno. I think he's just people will love to hate him because of his antics chasing the ref, but he's always involved. He's one of those players that hasn't got to do anything to pick up bonus, and he's always on the peripheries of hauling. And I just think he's a class player. And then Mbeumo seems to be nailed. There's no one challenging him for that right side 10 role, whereas Cunha does have a bit of rotation. Him and Sesko being in and out a few times. So yeah, the Mbeumo and Bruno would be definitely the two assets from United. I'll be looking at possibly getting them both in.
Nice. Right, I guess let's go on to your team then, Scott. So this is your first draft of your team?
Yeah. So
I assume you've probably changed it since you've last sent this to me, to be fair.
No, I pulled the trigger on Saturday and I've left it. I only to put these in to get the price rises. I expected Mateta, Thiago and Mbeumo to get price rises when they all have, so I've managed to capture them. But nice. No, I've kept it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go double Sunderland defence. I'm definitely going to have double Arsenal defence.
Nice.
Maybe triple Arsenal defence. So my question is, do I go triple Arsenal defence, or do I draft in an Arsenal mid?
Who would you want to drop? I guess what type of budget are you looking at for the Arsenal mid?
Well, I have $1 million in the bank. I can upgrade Enzo to Eze, or I can just change Indai or Enzo to Rice. Budget's not a lot. I can't get the Saka unless I rejig all the funds. But I think I'm happy to go Saka-less. Although having him in that midfield at that price point is quite nice, because you can move to Palmer if he ever gets back. If Salah starts to fire, you're part of the way there with Saka. So I'm probably going down that road of not having Saka in there. So yeah, it'd be Eze or Rice in the midfield for Enjoy or Enzo.
Again, I think I would probably stick with double Arsenal defence. Just because obviously if we concede, you don't lose 3 clean sheets.
Would you be tempted though, Burnley, Sunderland next 2 going triple defence?
Yeah, it's definitely plausible.
Mm-hmm.
We've only conceded 3 all season, so I could be completely contradicting myself, but yeah.
So I'm bench boosted in 12, so I've got that in the back of my mind that I've looked at the 12 fixtures.
Yeah.
And all these players here have lovely fixtures in 12, apart from Arsenal, who have Tottenham, which is the only question
mark.
That's a lovely
fixture. What are you talking about?
But that'd be that's the question. Spurs in 12. Would you be happy going in triple up in the defence, or would you want an attack and SAT for that game?
Well, I think obviously if you're looking at Chelsea, they've got Burnley in 12, so you probably want Enzo.
Yep, he's there
for that game. They've got Wolves in 11.
Yeah,
so you probably want him for that game.
Yep.
Which is probably why you've got Sanchez, right?
Yes,
as the goalkeeper currently.
Yeah.
I guess, do you enjoy just looking at Rice now?
See, Everton were 3rd in the ticker. Got some nice fixtures and they play United in 12.
So yeah, we've got obviously Burnley, Sunderland, Tottenham, Chelsea. Rice has got 3 in the last 4. So he's got an assist, goal, 2 assists and a goal in the last 4.
Yeah, the question is who.
So he's got
question
5.
Is who you take him out for?
My thoughts would be Njai, but I'm just looking at Njai's upcoming fixtures. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly.
No, Sunderland next. They got Fulham, I think, in there.
They're not the games. Yeah, Sunderland's not going to be easy, as we've seen how well they've been performing. Fulham seem to be a team that get up for the odd fixture. They seem to be a bit of an up and down yo-yo, but they're getting a good side. If Man United continue their form, they're going to be a tough game. And then they've got Newcastle, Bournemouth. They've got some tough games coming up on paper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my gut feel to try and get in that Arsenal attack. Maybe bring in Rice if you've got the budget to move in Dye to Rice.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a million in there because my initial thought was Eze for one of them, but Njai is a strange one for me because he's on penalties. He's definitely Everton's best player.
By far.
And if they had a centre forward, he would be on probably 6 assists already. Beto just can't hit a barn door.
Yeah, he's a quality player, no doubt.
Yeah, and I'll be quite reluctant to drop him because every time I watch Everton, I like watching Njai because he's so exciting to watch. No disrespect to Declan Rice, but I'd much rather watch Njai play than Declan swinging in corners. I was actually thinking about Semenyo. I've not owned Semenyo all season.
Yeah.
I've drafted him in purely because he's the man in form, but I'm not sure. He's 8.1 million now.
Maybe he's the man to move. Price rises he's had.
Crazy, yeah. so maybe he's the fella to move on and leave those other 3.
I think you've got City, Villa. You've got the nice game against West Ham in 12, which is obviously what you're trying to plan for, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got Sunderland, Everton, which again, although the Sunderland Everton games are green, I would suggest they're probably harder on paper than they're giving them credit for on this difficulty rating.
Yeah.
So again, that would save you some budget. You could probably go upgrade to Eze then, couldn't you, if you really wanted to? If you wanted to be a bit more risk and reward.
And there's no Bruno G in that midfield either.
Yeah.
Bruno G. Maybe I'll go all 6.5s across the middle.
So, yeah, that's potentially a way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Semenyo. I think I kind of like his unpredictability, which is a weird thing to say in FPL.
Well, he can haul any given week, can't he?
Yeah. The amount of shots he takes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that can happen against anybody. I mean, they got City this week. I mean, it could be in that week. You wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Does that give you enough food for thought, Scott?
Yeah. Thank you, mate. Yeah.
My pleasure. Now you can help me deconstruct my team.
Well, I got one little question for you. I just noticed we were talking pre-record. You're on about Tarkovsky that you've already removed. Michael Keane.
Plans to remove him, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Keane is obviously guaranteed a starting berth now that the Branswaite's been ruled out for a few months. Yeah. And he's a whole £1 million less than Tarkovsky and probably offers more goal threat.
Okay.
Thoughts on Tarkovsky to Keane to get yourself £1 million in the bank?
In the short term, that might be a good move. I just look at their more long-term fixtures. As I said, Man United in 12, Newcastle in 13, Bournemouth in 14.
Yeah.
They're really not easy games.
Yeah, you don't see many clean sheets there, do you? Not
particularly. So again, you're relying on DEFCON, and obviously Tarkovsky is the DEFCON king if you really want to go for it. That's kind of why I'm moving off. I want to move away from him because of that. So I guess going on to my team, the thoughts process here, I've got to get rid of Pedro.
Yep.
I'm getting sick of Reinders. There's no one else at his price point that offers the value that he offers. Obviously, being a starting player for a City side, but obviously he's playing deeper at the moment, which is not helping him. And all he seems to be getting is top of fouls lists at the moment rather than getting any points. So I feel I need to get rid of him. And then I've got Tarkowski in defence and Van der Ven in defence. Again, with their fixtures turning more difficult, I kind of want to move them on. So these were my suggested 4. So I've only shown 2 there because I didn't have space to put 4 transfers. So it was Pedro, Reinders out, and Van der Ven and Tarkowski out. And so far I was thinking of Mateta, Minter, Tior, and Richards. But as we discussed, another 5 in the pot pre-recording, my ideal transfer would be to get Munoz in. And the issue being, obviously, is I don't have budget in the bank. So moving Pedro to Mateta, I need to find 0.2. And then moving off Tarkowski, that puts me about 0.4 off to afford them both. Then I'd need to make the minimum of 3 transfers to get the 2 guys in that I realistically want. But I definitely want Mateta. I think he's the best value striker.
Yeah.
The only one really close is probably Voltemada, realistically. And then obviously lower in the budget hall, I would obviously look at the likes of Thiago and then even Welbeck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd have to do 3 transfers. So to get those 2 in at the very minimum. So I'd need to save 0.4 budget.
So here you go. You go Tarkowski to Rodon. That saves you 1.4. Then you go Pedro to Mateta, which eats up 0.2, so 1.2. And then Van der Ven to Munoz, 4.7. That's you done. Countdown. In.
So it just means I'd have to sit on Reinders for a couple of weeks because I think, again, the only way I can make budget to upgrade that midfield is by removing Gyökeres. And obviously I want to see how he does against Burnley and probably Sunderland before I do that. So do you think I'm wise to sit on Reinders for a couple more weeks then to potentially move budget around to then upgrade the midfield?
I mean, what I would do, I would make those 3 moves. If you're set on Munoz coming in, I'd get him in as soon as
his numbers just are incredible.
If
I'm expecting Palace to get points, which I am in these upcoming fixtures, he will be involved. And again, Mateta seems to be getting all these big chances. I'm hoping he's going to start putting more of them away than he's missing.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of thinking from an attacking sense, they feel like they are the 2 most reliable assets.
Well, Munoz had a price rise already this week, so he's been brought in by a few people that obviously think the same. I mean, you don't have to play Reinders. I mean, he's at that price point where you're not forced to play him. You
have a point.
If he's playing CDM, he's only going to accrue yellow cards, like you said. He's not going to accrue any attacking points. He's awful at tackling, so he doesn't pick up any DEFCON points neither. And you could play Senesi. I mean, he's guaranteed to pick up DEFCONs against City. And Bournemouth are good enough to hold out. They might get a win. That's the route I'd go. I'd bench Reinders, play Senesi, and see what you think next week with regards to getting rid of Reinders.
Okay, I think that solves my issue. I think you're right. 3 transfers, then I'll do.
Yeah, so you go into next week with 2, and no money.
Ooh. Sure enough, Darren's transfers already.
Well, he's brought in Gordon, isn't he? He loves a Newcastle mid. He's playing Newcastle midfield bingo, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he just wants to pick which week a Newcastle asset will haul. I think he's just trying to cover all bases.
Yeah. So I mean, Darren had a good week last week. 60 points was great. I mean, the global average was 46, if I remember. So to score 60 in a week like that's fantastic.
Yeah, especially with no bench boost.
I mean, one question going back to your team that people are gonna ask is you're going to sell Van der Ven a week after he just mega hauled.
Because that's like a rainbow.
Yeah.
That haul that you got is like a rainbow.
Rainbow and a unicorn.
Yeah, it just, those type of things don't happen very often. So, yeah.
So just some stats on Van der Ven. He'd never scored a double in his career, and up until the week just gone, he hadn't hit DEFCON us for a single week.
Exactly. Which is why I'm ditching him.
Yeah, answers the question anyway.
Yeah, I only had him in for Tottenham's potential clean sheets, and they weren't keeping them. So
yeah,
that's the reason I need to move on from. Yeah, Darren's team. So again, I'm looking at. I wish I had him on here because I'd like to understand why he's picked Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna have a quick look.
Out of all the assets you could go to,
Of all the assets,
because
he's downgraded massively his money there.
Well, Isak to Welbeck has saved him a good 4 million.
So I don't know whether he's sitting on loads of cash.
He must be, yeah.
But just Gordon.
And again, he's gone into this week again. Arsenal playing Burnley with no Arsenal defensive cover, which is a bit odd.
That's the main thing I think he's missing. He needs to try and get in the Arsenal defence.
Yeah. Van Dijk's there. I mean, he's the obvious move.
Yeah, it's almost direct move, and especially if he's got money in the bank, he can go straight to Gabriel.
Yeah,
quite easily. The Gordon one for me, obviously, he's just not long come back from injury. The last couple of weeks, 4 weeks, he's getting subbed around the 70-minute mark. He looks lively from what I've seen on the eye test.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I don't know if he's got any money in the bank, but for me, there must be better value. I'm wondering if he's thinking of the West Ham game. And no further.
Yep. Because in 3 weeks' time they play City, and he'll probably have the issue then what to do with those Newcastle players.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I understand getting off Paqueta.
Yep.
And I understand obviously Isak's injured, so that makes sense.
What moves would you have done then? Isak down to Mateta?
I think Mateta's probably the best pick. Again, like I say, and speaking of Newcastle, Voltemada would be a more obvious choice to me from a Newcastle pick. If I was to pick a Newcastle player, he's the most obvious choice.
Would you have gone Voltemada and Minte if you're going to pick Brighton and Newcastle assets that way around?
I think that's probably a better way around. Yeah. Mainly because, again, you can rely on Voltemada's minutes in the short term. I know this is starting to come back if I've seen some of the reports correct.
Eddie Howe said he needs 6 weeks, basically a pre-season, so he's not really that close from returning.
Oh, well, in that case, his minutes are almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
He's scoring regularly. Yeah, that feels the more obvious choice to me. And Minte's minutes are, again, guaranteed. He's a 90-minute guy.
Mm-hmm.
And again, his underlying numbers from attacking sense are pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's what I would suggest is maybe switch the two teams around.
Has he made these moves yet, or is it just his proposed moves?
Knowing Darren, he's already made them.
Maybe Saturday. Yeah.
So he probably made them. Saturday afternoon. He must have cash in the bank, and that's it. Yeah, the only other change would be Van Dijk to an Arsenal defender.
And he's got Grealish on the bench. I mean, Grealish on the bench. I mean, yeah, you'd bench Van der Ven for Grealish in that line.
Even De Kuyper at home against Leeds, is he not better value than Van der Ven versus Chelsea?
Yeah, he's got double Spurs defensive with Vicario. I mean, I wouldn't be going double Spurs against. Although Chelsea haven't been brilliant, I still wouldn't risk that.
I still fancy Chelsea to score.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's definitely changes to make there, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're listening, all drugged up, take note.
Playing a little violin.
But yeah, I think that's it. I think this might be the first week in the history of the podcast that we might be under an hour.
Well, I've still got to squeeze my question in.
Oh, go on.
You want it?
I'm as ready as ever.
It is Arsenal, sort of Arsenal. So Arsenal beat Palace at the weekend. That's the 100 games. And if you knew this, that's 100 games since Arsenal conceded 3. Did you know that?
Yep.
Who holds the record? 107 games. Which team?
107 games without conceding 3
plus in a game. Yeah.
3 in a game. 107. My gut feel would be Man City.
Oh, wrong side. United. Yeah.
Yeah, it was going to be one of the two in my mind.
107. So 7 more games, and Arsenal equal the records of the longest stretch. Which, when you think about it, that's 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
Without conceding 3 in a game, which is phenomenal, really, isn't it? That just shows you that Arsenal had an elite defence for seasons. It's not just a new phenomena. This has been building for a couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully this will be the season. Fingers crossed. But we'll have to wait and see. So hopefully that's helped everyone get over game week 9, move on to game week 10. Hopefully we've given everyone food for thought, including you, Darren, who hopefully is listening. Good luck, everybody. Like, subscribe to the channel. Leave us your comments. We'll get back to you. But have a great week. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.